Well, hello everyone once again. I do apologize for being quite late, but once again, we are presenting coverage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. I can tell you that the Netherlands and Ecuador have just kicked off, so Hanno sends his apologies for not being for being a little bit late, but I'm sure he will join us soon. And of course, this will be an exciting clash for bragging rights at the top of Group A and possible early qualification, because if the Netherlands were to beat Ecuador, then they would almost certainly secure their spot in the tournament in the next stage, with Qatar, of course, having lost their second game of the tournament to Senegal earlier today. And if Ecuador win, then it'll certainly be quite interesting, but yeah, I'm just receiving some texts from Ahano. And yeah, so it's about 2 minutes gone, and it's goalless between the two teams. And I mean, so far, still some rather cagey action, and Virgil van Dijk of the Netherlands needlessly and rather carelessly gives it away for a throw into Ecuador. And I will share the team news with you right now, if you could just give me a minute. Obviously, if Ecuador were to beat the Netherlands themselves, then they could take a giant step towards qualifying, and certainly a draw against Qatar will certainly seal it. Of course, with Qatar, I just don't see them being able to pull a win out of anywhere. And obviously, despite Mohamed Montari making history for Qatar by being the first uh, World Cup finals goal scorer for the country, um, it wasn't enough, as Edward Mendy recovered from his shocker against the Netherlands to produce a better performance. And 3 goals from Senegal has helped improve their goal difference to a flat 0, while Netherlands are sitting pretty on both the Netherlands and Ecuador, in fact, are sitting pretty on 2 each. So this is, in effect, almost a tiebreaker unless both of these teams tie. And I don't know if I can necessarily see that happening. Now, as for the team news, I will just share that with you. If you can all please wait. Just received a call at the last minute that Hanno couldn't make it in time, but I am here for all of you. And this is the team news for the Netherlands right now. So once again, it's a 3-4-5-2. And this time there is a change, of course, with obviously number 15. I mean, instead of fielding a lone striker up in a lone striker, they now have 2 up front with Cody Gakpo and Steven Bergwijn. Davy Klaassen, of course, scored that excellent winner. Again, Daley Blind and Frankie. Again, Daley Blind and Denzel Dumfries are expected to be sort of like wing backs, bombing up and down with 3 at the back. And this time, instead of Matthias de Ligt, it is Jeroen Timber who comes into the side, and Jurien Timber rather, alongside Virgil van Dijk and Nathan Ake. And then Koopmeiners also comes into the team. He was a substitute in the earlier match. Apart from that, no real changes. And Memphis Depay could be expected to come on a bit later as a substitute, but Timber, Koopmeiners, and Klaassen are the men in for the Netherlands. And once again, Ecuador will be sticking to a 5-4-1 formation. Hector Galindez preferred in goal once again to Alexander Dominguez. Angelo Preciado. A new change coming in, Jackson Perozzo in the on the right side of that three-man defense. And the Netherlands are on the attack right now, and they could possibly score. And it is the first goal for the Netherlands. A brilliant strike from none other than Cody Gakpo, who, of course, scored the first goal between the Netherlands and Senegal on Monday, and he comes up trumps yet again. And obviously, with only a 3-day gap between games, it's the fresher of the teams that will end up qualifying, and this is how it's proved. So Certainly, the Netherlands look quite hungry, and Van Gaal has not been afraid to, to drop sentiment in favor of players who he believes will suit his style, and it's paid off wonderfully. Some excellent work there from Nathan Ake was the one who started it. Klassen over there laying it off to Gakpo. A gorgeous left-footed strike, leaving Galindez with no chance whatsoever. And what this will mean for the Ecuadorian shape going forward, I can't quite tell you. Maybe they'll decide to, um, transition to a back four, but we'll look into that. The other team members, of course, are Felix Torres and Piero Hincapi, who comes into the team. Estupinian also is the left back still. Gonzalo Plata, and then Jegson Mendes comes into the team, and he's alongside Moses Caicedo, Enner Valencia, the skipper, and also Michael Estrada. So the challenge, of course, will now be for Ecuador to try to recover from that. And it is, in fact, an Ecuadorian throw taken by Hincapi all the way back to Felix Torres. It's Porozo, the central defender, who passed it to Caicedo and has passed it back to him. And it is Precia. No, that is Porozo right now. My bad. That was actually Mendes who had come all the way back to defend. So the beauty of being a central midfielder is that you can be asked to perform defensive duties. And Ecuador breaking through Caicedo, laying it up for Plata there, but that was taken away. But Preciado can try and attack now. Down the right, up against his fellow number 17, Daley Blind. And that is Mendes right now with the attempted cross, cut out by Nathan Ake quite effectively. Ecuador still attacking, and the referee didn't call a free kick for that push. It is Hincapi who crosses it in, but there's no one on the end of that, and Daley Blind should be able to hook that away and clear it. And Mendes now passes it back to Preciado. Torres. Back to Preciado again. Plata. Mendes to Caicedo, back to Mendes, back to Preciado now. Torres. And that is Plata, who plays that all the way to Estupinian on the left wing. Hincapi. Porozo. Enner Valencia, the skipper. And that is, of course, Mendes, who's come back to defend. Jegson Mendes is his name. And then Galindez gets the ball and then tries to start something again. So obviously Ecuador will need to recover their shape and their poise, but they're still very much in this game. 9 minutes have gone. Still 36 left in the half and 81 left in the game, not counting the many substitutions. And I will stop sharing the screen right now. My apologies for that. And obviously, Hanno brought you coverage of the Qatar-Senegal game, which was, for me, not really one in which I was interested. But obviously, this is the game which takes up more interest because the winners of this will almost certainly take a big step towards qualifying, and Qatar will almost surely be out. I'd certainly seriously cannot see Ecuador losing to Qatar. So it will definitely be interesting to see what happens here in this game. Of course, a draw, funnily enough, could end up seeing Qatar almost out because, again, barring a freakish set of results, Qatar stay in the tournament could very well be over. That's Yurian Timber coming into the side. A needless foul there on the on the Ecuadorian skipper, Enner Valencia. And it will be Jegson Mendes to take this free kick. A short one passed all the way to Caicedo, who takes it all the way out to Preciado, who can cross. It finds Estupinian quite perfectly, and a shot from Valencia into the ground, tame in the end and cleared away quite easily. And through Gakpo, who brilliantly kept that in play, Netherlands can break. Koopmeiners, the substitute from yesterday. And it's passed all the way back to Andries Noppert in goal. So obviously preferred to Ryan Pasveer and Justin Bilo. Noppert stands at over 2 meters and obviously is able to use his height to an advantage. Had a good game against Senegal where he kept a clean sheet and made some important saves. Good intercepting header there by Preciado, but that is back with Nathan Ake, who passes it to Virgil van Dijk, the Dutch captain and Liverpool third captain behind Jordan Henderson and James Milner, of course. Urian Timber passes that to Gakpo. And obviously Koopmeiners was sort of overrun there and double teamed, if you will, by Ecuador. And they can break now through Preciado. Platter. Well, that pass was served to him on a platter, but he didn't make the most of it. And Noppert can kick that away. And we see Steven Bergwijn there, who was, of course, on the books at Tottenham not too long ago, but returned to Ajax. Valencia, Estupinian. Trying his best to try to retreat, if you will, and eventually finds Felix Torres. A long pass forward, which finds Estrada, all the way to Preciado now. And Ecuador still content to try and keep playing the ball on merit and not really doing too much with it. So let me check the comments. Any comments coming in? No, not yet. But once again, do please come right into the chat. Let's be having you. I will also copy the invitation. The link. I'll be more than happy to invite you all to come on the stream and say what you want to say. And yeah, this is the link right here. Let's be having all of you. And Gakpo there, showing highlights of the goal. I think Galindez could perhaps be criticized for leaving that gap wide open, but the shot, the power and the speed of Gakpo, there was no way any keeper would have saved that, to be fair. Not even Thibaut Courtois or Hugo Lloris or anyone for that matter. And as Koopmeiners now down the right, Netherlands are attacking and making the most of their pressing forward. Ecuador happy to defend as much as they possibly can. And if you missed action from earlier today, the first game, of course, saw Iran deservedly beat Wales, albeit through two breathlessly late goals. Wayne Hennessy, the Welsh number one, the Welsh goalkeeper, getting sent off for a dangerous and admittedly needless high tackle on the Iranian forward Taremi. And after his dismissal, his replacement, Danny Ward, couldn't make a save, conceded 2 goals, condemning Wales to a defeat, which makes qualification for them from the group stage all the more difficult, with England set to play later on. And it looks as though we have Mr. Trollope in the stream. Hannah, good to see you back. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm going to join in and out, but yeah, I will be.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for not changing the score. Once again, it always happens that. But anyway, listen, I've got it under control. Don't worry. It was in the 6th minute that Gakpo scored anyway.
Yeah. But I said Ecuador will win 2-1, so hopefully Ecuador can come back.
Looks as though you're not a very big fan of the Netherlands, huh?
Nah, I just think, oh, not I think, I expect that them to do better, Ecuador, and I than they did. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to having you come back, but you take your time and I will see you soon, yeah?
Yes. See you in bit. Let me see.
All right. Okay, so I'll wait for him to come back, obviously, and 16 minutes have gone now, 10 minutes since that goal, and it's still 1-0, and still some controlled play from the Netherlands right now, not really allowing Ecuador to get much of a sniff. Now, this is certainly another team that could do well in this tournament. I think Van Gaal, as I've said, has shown a lot of strength and gumption by picking on form and not on sentiment. But obviously, there are a few players in that squad who will look to come on and who normally would be starters were it not for injuries. I'm talking about a certain Mr. Depay, whose introduction, changed the game. But this is a sort of atypical Dutch performance because they've taken the lead so quickly. I just wonder if, having taken the surprise lead almost against the run of play, they're just content to continue, controlling it, just playing simply, not really forcing the issue and just moving back. And we see Jurien Timber passing it back to Andries Noppert there. Nathan Ake with the pass to Davy Klaassen, who finds Denzel Dumfries, and Gakpo wins the throw. So obviously Gakpo being blocked, but and apparently Gakpo is in fact right-footed, so that was an excellent goal with his wrong foot. And another through pass attempted there, but Dumfries couldn't get a hold of that. But Netherlands win another throw. So it looks as though Gakpo and Dumfries are combining well on that right side, causing a few issues. But Estupinian and company are staying strong. And it's now, transition to a 3-4-1-2, obviously with Preciado and Estupinian now midfielders / wingbacks. So we see Estrada still the lone striker, and Valencia and Plata just dropping a little bit deeper just behind him. So we'll see. Hopefully, if Plata can, and either of those two can move to the side, maybe they can perhaps provide better support. But it is what it is. Dumfries. Ironically, his family share the name with an old Scottish town called Dumfries. So maybe there is a bit of Scottish representation, in addition to the two Scotsmen who are in the Australian team, Harry Souttar and Jason Cummings. Estupinian now. And that is one back, and Ake sort of heads that, if you will. And will the referee award a free kick? Yes, he does. So some more sedate play since the goal, and obviously Ecuador going to try and find their way back in. One of several CONMEBOL nations in this tournament, alongside Brazil and Argentina, and of course I think Peru were supposed to be there, but they lost in the playoff to Australia. And the referee awards a free kick to Ecuador, but there is a man down. It's Denzel Dumfries, who obviously felt the brunt of that and still writhing along the ground. And basically, he had the ball kicked into him by Felix Torres. Not a nice feeling when the ball is kicked into your chest. Oh, yeah, that's painful. And that is Memphis Depay, who will certainly be brought on in the second half if needed, but certainly made an impact against Senegal. Senegal, of course, won earlier today, beating Qatar 3-1, as I've mentioned. And this is the third game today, and the fourth game is the almighty clash of titans, if you will, the one which will certainly be making the headlines. England against the United States, and that will be taking place later on tonight, of course, with the kickoff at 7 p.m. GMT. And that will be brought to you, of course, on the Coach's Corner. Just taking a look at the possession stats, Holland nearly having 40%, Ecuador nearly having 40. Actually, Holland nearly having 50%, Ecuador having nearly 40, with the remaining, of course, in contest. So you could say that marginally, the Netherlands have been good value for their win so far. And of course, the England-USA clash will be taking place at the Al Bayt Stadium later on tonight. So still, there are a few gaps in the middle of the park, and Ecuador will want to try and, make the most of them. But again, their passes aren't quite going through, and the Netherlands can still continue to run and continue to play. Basically, starting from Noppert with Nathan Ake contributing, Daley Blind, of course, the vastly experienced left wing back, down to Steven Bergwijn, of course, the left winger. Attempted back heel there, and it's enough for. Apparently, the throw has gone the way of Ecuador, much to the chagrin of Daley Blind. Preciado with the throw all the way to Porozo, who kicks it long. And Ecuador on the attack now, down the right wing. It was Plata there who had the attack, and Caicedo with the shot, blocked. And it is Caicedo who now runs down the left in an attempt to try to create something. But the defense, the Dutch cavalry is back to the rescue, and the throw is conceded. So, excellent run there by Caicedo behind the defenders there, if you will, on the left. But Virgil van Dijk, the captain, steering the ship magnificently. And it's haven't taken the throw yet for some reason. Not too sure what's going on. Finally, it is Estupiñán who takes that throw. Estupiñán, the left back. Left wing back in this case. There's a forward pass through to Gonzalo Plata, who tries to drill it into the penalty area, but that is once again blocked away. Hincapi is able to engage in some interplay between himself, Estupiñán, and Plata. Crossed by Estupiñán, but brilliantly headed away by Virgil van Dijk before the Ecuadorian attacker could come in. And so the Netherlands need to be careful, because the more they sit back, the more pressure they will invite for Ecuador. Actually from Ecuador, because they're the ones exerting the pressure. Now, a long kick forward, and that should be claimed quite easily by Hector Galindez. Now back with Ecuador, who will try and take things forward. That was Porozo with that pass to Torres, now to Estupiñán. Back to Torres now. Estrada, Valencia, and a dreadful foul that on Estrada by Timber. Basically, a little bit like chopping down a tree and yelling Timber, if you will. And yeah, needless foul there, needless foul. It was nicely set up by Gonzalo Plata. I mean, they're just showing highlights of that with Plata and Estupinian engaging in some good interplay there. Nice flies it across, but Van Dijk was there to head that away before Estrada could have a sniff at that. That is Perozzo, Preciado, Caicedo, and Plata obviously wanted to try and run for that, but he was, of course, not quick enough to get that. So there is some concern from the Ecuadorian fans, but at the same time, they're enjoying the experience of being in the World Cup. Smiling, if you will, for the cameras. And that attack is sort of stopped by Coop Miners, but Coop Miners loses the ball. And Enner Valencia down the left now. A nice cross in, and it's just beyond the reach of both Plata and Preciado, but Preciado does win a corner off Nathan Ake. So starting to heat up now, and obviously Ecuador finding their way back into the game. A beautiful little back heel there from Torres, and if only someone had been on the end of that, Andres Notput would have been in some trouble. Claiming a handball there. Oh, well, I don't know if that's gone to VAR. Well, I think from the looks of it, VAR aren't interested. Plata with the corner, left-footed, short almost. And do they get another corner? Well, this time it's a throw-in, I think, so the Dutch can start to, clear their lines a bit, but another throw-in. And this time it'll be Preciado to take the throw. And it's sort of a throw back, if you will. Felix Torres, Jegson Mendes sending it forward. Estupinian with the header. Anyone in the end of that? Nope. Ake is there to clear the danger. And the referee will blow his whistle for an infringement. So it'll be a Dutch free kick. And some good defending there from Felix Torres, preventing the ball from actually reaching the Dutch attackers there. But the Dutch are still coming forward now. Bergwijn. And that is De Jong, who can run, but impeded there by the Ecuadorian defense. But now it's back with Bergwijn, who's in the penalty area. And Perozzo there doing some defending, trying to head off the attack, but it is back with De Jong. Blind now can try and whip it in. And that is hacked behind for a corner by Hincapi. Piero Hincapi is his name. Good to see who takes this corner now. And obviously everyone lining up there, and some argy-bargy going on between Perozzo and Van Dijk. It's Gakpo with the corner. And that is eventually cleared, and through Enner Valencia, he sends it forward. But that's going to be a little bit too far for Gonzalo Plata, and De Jong can clear that. Passes it to Jurrien Timber. So half an hour just gone. Netherlands still up by a 0-0. And De Jong has, of course, come all the way back. Koopmeiners. Klaassen. And Ecuador with a throw through Estupinian now. And trying to send it forward, but Koopmeiners is able to recover quite well and ends up winning a free kick. And a lot of tempers fraying now, and the referee's going to have to calm everything down. The Algerian referee for tonight is Mustafa Gurbal. So he'll certainly have his hands full trying to deal with a few frayed tempers, but it's with Nathan Ake now. And he passes it back to the goalkeeper, Noppert, who passes it back to Ake. And that is De Jong. Frankie de Jong, that is. It is Gakpo once again, but that is cleared away. Ecuador now need to try and build from that. And it's found its way to Enner Valencia down the left. He's up against, takes a shot, and that is Andreas Noppert's first action of the night. Once again, justifying Van Gaal's decision to pick him ahead of Pasveer and Bilo. A shot almost out of nothing, really, and I mean, a comfortable save, but an important save nonetheless, because an Ecuadorian equalizer would certainly have put the cat amongst the pigeons. It will be Estupinian with the corner, left-footed away swinger, but that is headed away by the Dutch defense. But they can get it back, and the Dutch concede a throw. So Dumfries there, back on defensive duty and doing everything he can. Nathan Ake now, who will try to take it out. Lead it out, rather. Daley Blind. Pass back to Ake. Van Dijk. And so Valencia and Estrada have led the way with receptions between midfield and defensive lines. Good work from those two, but their side is now 1-0 down. Daley Blind setting it forward, and Klaassen winning the throw off Porozo. Calming proceedings in a way. Daley, of course, son of the former Dutch midfielder Danny Blind. And it is spelt blind, but it is pronounced Blind. Danny Blind, of course, having a long career with Ajax Amsterdam. 42 caps for the Netherlands and a member of the Dutch sides in the 1990 World Cup, Euro 92, 94 World Cup, and Euro 96 in England. And retired after Euro 96 to finish his career, of course, with Ajax Amsterdam, where he won 5 Eredivisie titles, the Champions League in 1995, a Cup Winners' Cup in 1987, a UEFA Cup in 92, a Super Cup and Intercontinental Cup in 1995. So certainly a part of a dominant Ajax team then, and several of those players, of course, going on to achieve really great things. And of course, Daley Blind is his father. His son, rather. Yeah, that was awful. So far, began his career at Ajax, moved to Groningen on loan, and then moved to Manchester United for 4 seasons, and now is back with Ajax. And with 90 playing in his 96th international for the Netherlands tonight, certainly one of the more respected members in the team. a defender who often plays as a midfielder. His second World Cup to go with Euro 2020. That is Valencia now, down the left. Some good defending that from Gakpo, who's come back. And Timber can now clear that. That is through with Koopmeiners now, who sides it to Gakpo. Along the wing, it is with Dumfries, and Netherlands win a throw, conceded by Hincapi. Seeing a lot of adverts on my phone. I just hope that isn't picked up with the microphone, but this microphone is quite powerful, you see. And Felix Torres, Porozo, Mendes. That is with Plata now. Preciado. Mendes. Caicedo. And it's a Dutch free kick, probably for obstruction from Caicedo. And Caicedo's not really happy with that decision. But not too sure what language they're speaking in there. If only we're a fly in that stadium. And that is Frankie de Jong, who takes that free kick, passing it back to Nathan Ake. And a long back pass to Andries Noppert in the Dutch goal. Ake boots it forward. And it's a pretty dangerous play over there. I believe it was Dumfries who was trying to create something out of nothing, but Hincapi doing his job, doing quite well. Koopmeiners. De Jong, back to Koopmeiners. And it is with Dumfries now. Some rather lazy back heel there, which is intercepted well by ECUADOR. And they break now through Moises Caicedo down the left. A back pass all the way to Estupiñán. Mendes, Plata, back to Mendes. Back to Estupiñán. Plata now. And the Netherlands win that back. And once again, they're on the attack, but no buts. They win a free kick. Bergwijn there going down. A little nudge in the knee there from Hincapi. Not the nicest of challenges in any respect. Nathan Ake. Frankie de Jong. Daily Blend. Does he keep it in play? Yes, he does. And it's back with Noppert, who passes it to Van Dijk. Klaassen. Blind. De Jong. Blind. And Klaassen now down the left up against Porozo. And Porozo concedes a throw as opposed to a corner. And Wales can, not Wales, what am I thinking? Brain freeze. And players, of course, now sedated a little bit. Back with Torres. Porozo, Mendes, Torres, Hincapi. Back to Galindez in the Ecuador goal. 40 minutes gone, 5 minutes to half-time with stoppages to be added, and it's still 1-0 Netherlands. You see Virgil van Dijk telling his defense not to let up. Estupinian, of course, with the throw. And something going on over there, and the referee getting himself involved. Obviously, trying to calm things down, and you can see some no love lost there between both sides. Enner Valencia. And that will go out for a Dutch throw. Dumfries there doing some good work shielding that. Edgar Davids. Some legends in the box. Nice orange tie there for the occasion. It's Perozzo who chips it forward. And some good anticipation from Noppert there, who's able to read it and takes the ball away from Moises Caicedo. Urian Timber passes it back to Noppert, who kicks it high. And that's forced back into the Dutch half, and offside there from the looks of things against probably Valencia, I would think. A few moments of concern. Obviously 2.5 minutes left till the half. The Ecuadorian fans are still quite happy. Van Dijk to Ake to what looks like Coop Miners, who's gone all the way to the left. De Jong with the ball. And it was still with De Jong. And instead of playing the advantage, the referee decides to award Ecuador a free kick, which they take fairly quickly. And that kept in play? Yes, it is. I think they're claiming a throw, but no one's going to get it. And De Jong is able to pass that now to Blind, who obviously was looking for Bergwijn, but couldn't find him. And Galindez out quite quickly to smother that. Felix Torres now. Back with Torres from Perozzo. Mendes. And an attempt to try to... It's all about making the tackles at the right time and pressing your players, and that's what the Dutch have been able to do quite effectively, and that's what Iran did quite magnificently today. Must also be said that Wales's passing and pass completion rate was absolutely abysmal. So for England, Robert Page will have to make some changes. One of those, of course, being enforced with Wayne Hennessy suspended. It will be Danny Ward who might come in, or it could very well be Adam Davies who comes in goal. And ugly-looking challenge there on Gonzalo Plata, but the referee says play on. No foul there. And Dumfries gets that to Bergwijn. Back to Dumfries. But he loses the throw-in, and the attack goes begging. And so it's with Torres now. Try to calm proceedings down. Passes it to Mendes. And there'll be 3 minutes of added on time with no untoward incidents. And Estupinian now down the left. And a good block that from Dumfries, which manages to find its way to Van Dijk. But Ecuador pressing hard. And the Netherlands with a free kick with Bergwijn once again down. Other news from the World Cup is that from yesterday's game, Brazil's star striker Neymar, who literally had the flesh kicked out of him, will be missing the next 2 games because of a bad injury. So clearly the Serbians seeing it fit to attack him at his weakest point, fouling him every chance they could get. And so in his absence, it will remain to be seen who plays. I probably might consider someone like Rodrigo or maybe Camavinga coming into the team, or even Gabriel Martinelli, maybe. I really don't rate Gabriel Jesus that much, but Brazil looked good in their win over Serbia. And some tempers flaring there between Estrada and what looks like Urian Timber there. And Ecuador do win a free kick. And with 1.5 minutes to go, will this prove to be costly for the Netherlands, or will they be able to weather this storm like they've weathered all the other storms so far? Excuse the yawning. At least you can't see what I've had for breakfast today, unlike the urban legend, but still not a good sight when you yawn like this. Ugh. Estupinian with the free kick, hoping to find an attacker, and they're appealing for a corner. And I think the frustration tells it all. No corner, but we're going to see what happens here. A nice floated left-footed free kick from Estupinian. They're claiming that Ake got the last touch, and from this angle we should be able to see it clearly. Well, it does look as though Ake had a hand to it, but the referee deciding, nope, that is a Dutch goal kick. Actually, no, it did come. They ruled that it did indeed come off Nathan Ake, so it's another corner. It's all happening out there at the Khalifa International Stadium, and as usual, bringing it to you. Left-footed corner, taken in, swinging inside. A shot, and it's in! And Ecuador have equalized right on the stroke of half-time. It is just what they ordered. And finally, Andreas Noppert is beaten. But apparently that goal won't count, and the celebrations have been cut short. The offside flag has been raised, and clearly Estupinian is having none of it. Well, we're going to take a look at the corner there, delivered left-footed by Plata, I believe. And it'll be hard to see if Perozo, the number 25, was interfering with the play there. Well, because he was standing in the way, it might have been deemed that he was interfering with play. And Estupinian clearly still can't fathom that decision. An extra minute of stoppage time has been played. But it won't be long before the referee blows his whistle, and the Ecuadorian manager is not happy. But Ecuador have shown that they can come back into it, and with that, that is the halftime whistle. And while Estupinian is, just resigned to his fate headed to the touchline, more than a few Ecuadorians, well, now we're speaking to the linesman right now to get some clarification. And Estupinian is still quite angry with it, and the referee is saying, sorry, boys, that goal won't count. So Cody Gakpo's six-minute opener is the difference between two teams right now. And at halftime, it is the Netherlands 0, Ecuador 1. So it is once again Cody Gakpo's goal. And of course, he scored against Senegal as well. So a possible early candidate for the Golden Boot Award, although Bukayo Saka has 2 in one game. And Richarlison also scored 2 yesterday. It could very well be for Brazil that Richarlison continues to lead the line. The only question is who will partner him. It will have to be Rodrigo or maybe Eduardo Camavinga, in my opinion. Maybe Gabriel Martinelli can come in on the left and have a start. It won't be Gabriel Jesus. Apologies to Arsenal fans there. Now we have some advertisements coming up. And still no comments. Please come and join in. Have your say. Say whatever you want to say. The link's in the chat if you want to come on and have a chat. Let's be having you. Once again, a reminder, this is the link, streamyard.com, and all these digits and letters. Looking forward to having you back, of course, and well, really not too many highlights in the first half. I think with Gakpo's goal being earlier than expected, the Netherlands have still been willing to sit back, but credit to Ecuador for, taking advantage of that and starting to become a lot more aggressive. And we could be set for an interesting second half right now, because that goal, had it been certified, would certainly have, left Louis van Gaal in a spot of bother. Possibly forced him to make some earlier substitutions than expected, but as it stands, it's still 1-0 to the Netherlands, and yep, it was Perozo who was in the keeper's line of vision and also in offside position, so there's really not much that Estupinian can do about that, but that was a fine shot, which could have been rewarded with a goal, but sadly it wasn't. And the Netherlands continue to breathe. So, and showing some highlights, of course, of the game right now, and obviously Gakpo's wrong-footed strike can be seen over and over again. One of the few moments of quality in that first half, which wasn't forgettable by any means, but certainly not as exciting as one would have hoped. And a lot of the talking points about Hennessy's tackle were sort of evoking memories of the Tony Schumacher and Patrick Battiston clash in the 1982 World Cup. Unwanted list of World Cup goalkeepers there. First red card of the tournament. Very unfortunate for the big Welsh stopper, who had a fine game by all accounts until then. Third goalkeeper after Gianluca Pagliuca and Itumeleng Kune of South Africa. So not too sure what he was thinking there. Obviously, he wanted to stop the onrushing Taremi from getting a shot on goal, but ended up completely clearing him out. And the referee had, in fact, booked him, but ended up changing his decision to a red card after consultation with the VAR. So I think when he went to check with the VAR, Hennessy knew that he was in trouble. And Gakpo pulling away there, obviously going on his left to connect with that beautifully and score. And that goal, in fact, is the fastest of the tournament so far. Got Luis Figo and I think Wayne Rooney in the studio. Basically talking about how Nathan Ake has been given all sorts of space and how his vision and passing has been quite key for the Netherlands so far. Found the gaps quite perfectly. And they're talking about, of course, how Gakpo was able to make space for himself and get into that position. So Klassen there doing some good work holding it up, and Gakpo moving and seeing the space available. And of course, from Qatar, Senegal, we're taking a look at the analysis again of the game. Both teams have now had one shot on target each, and Ecuador were able to increase their position to marginally higher than that. And that was the shot on target, of course, from the skipper, Eder Valencia, drawing the save from Noppert in the Dutch goal. Certainly moves very well, tall and quite thin. Almost shades of Edwin van der Sar, if you will, although not even van der Sar was quite as tall. And of course, from earlier from a later game, of course, showing the disallowed goal, but Perosa obviously being in an offside position and blocking the goalkeeper, that goal wasn't going to stand. And of course, Qatar losing in the second match today, despite scoring their first ever World Cup goal through Mohamed Montari. They had momentum on their side, couldn't do much with it. And Qatar, of course, are in danger of becoming the second host nation to exit the World Cup at the group stage. The other one, of course, being South Africa in 2010. And that is, of course, if Netherlands beat Ecuador tonight. Both teams have been very accurate with their passes, 85 to 87%. 3 corners for Ecuador to 1 for the Netherlands. 6 shots from Ecuador, but only 1 on target, while the Netherlands have just had the 1 shot on target, which was, in fact, a goal. So you could say that Ecuador have been able to come back into this and certainly look quite dangerous, but for the most part, the Netherlands have been controlling the game quite well. Haven't been able to get in, but one would assume that with Memphis Depay to come on, it will only be a matter of time before the Dutch score again. And of course, that goal from Gakpo meant that Ecuador's run of 7 consecutive clean sheets ended up coming to an end. And Memphis Depay is seen warming up. He will almost certainly have a role to play in the second half. Is it just me, or certainly I'm not too sure that his left leg could be that much tattooed to be darker than his right leg, but it is what it is. Any comments? Still no comments. And of course, tomorrow's games will see Group C and D in action. France, of course, hoping to follow up their win over Australia with a dominant performance over Denmark. And Australia will take on Tunisia in a game that they will be hopeful of winning. A lot of controversy as well in the Iran game, with the national anthem being booed, and more controversy again surrounding events going on back in Iran. I know that my good friend King Sight from the King's Football Show is quite happy with the result, but he was saying that Qatar probably should have had a penalty in that game against Senegal. But it is what it is, and as long as Senegal live to fight another day, I guess that's all that matters. But and the players, of course, are now back in the tunnel. There's Memphis Depay, who is getting ready to come on. Obviously now preferably used as an impact sub, and with Ecuador now finding space and looking a little bit dangerous, this could very well be the time for him to make his appearance earlier than he normally would have liked, but it sort of is what it is. And a lot of tweets about Hennessy's red card, saying, well, the Qatar officials did say that there was no alcohol involved, so Hennessy had to go. And one of the things about the World Cup is that even though some players obviously won't get to play or start, the bench players also have important roles to play in terms of encouraging their teammates, and you just never know when something can happen and you may be called up to play. And so the substitution has been confirmed. It is Memphis Depay on for Steven Bergwijn, who certainly ran quite a lot but wasn't really effective in the end. A more tactical substitution, and it is Depay now who will have the responsibility of kicking off, as the Netherlands will attack from right to left. As you can see, it was Ecuador who kicked off, attacking from right to left, but and Timber once again being put under pressure by Enner Valencia, but clearing that out for a throw. And it is time for me to change the ticker. And so confirmation of the lineups. Memphis Depay has been confirmed that he's come on as a substitute on the television. So whenever they show a recap of the lineups, they will show the substitutions that have been made. No substitutes for Ecuador, despite the fact that they are a goal down. And Davids is actually a part of the backroom staff along with Van Gaal, so a nice touch there. Davids, of course, working with his former Ajax and Netherlands team manager. And Ecuador win a free kick. They started off this half quite brightly. Obviously, the Netherlands cannot really afford to keep sitting back and sitting back. I'm sure Qatar will be hopeful for an Ecuador win, which means that they could still at least remain in the tournament. But in reality, you know, with their poor goal difference, it won't be long before they do come out. And Andreas Noppert coming over there to confidently and comfortably claim that. Rolling it out to Nathan Aki. Passes it to Daley Blind. Sending that long. And Depay on the end of that, but unable to keep that in play. And Ecuador win a throw-in. Jegs and Mendes right now with the throw. On second thought, he leaves it to Preciado. He takes that throw in and it's sent long, headed back into the Ecuadorian half by Virgil van Dijk. And Preciado there winning the throw in. Angelo Preciado, that is. One of two Preciados in the squad, the other one being the number 9, Ayrton Preciado. I'll find out if they're twins or siblings later on. A back pass to Noppert, who was being challenged there by one of the attackers. Noppert took his time with that. I suppose in the end he was always cool. And Ecuador win it back, and they're looking quite dangerous. And will we see a second shot on goal from Estupinian? Saved by the goalkeeper, but put into the net. And will this goal be disallowed? Not from the looks of it. Enner Valencia, the skipper, has put his country back on level terms. So I will now change that. And now this time, Noppert has been beaten in the 49th minute of the match. So the warning signs were there because the Netherlands were starting to be a little bit lackadaisical with their play. I wouldn't say lackadaisical, but certainly a little bit nonchalant. And they're still obviously claiming the Netherlands that the goal should be disallowed. I don't know if that'll go to VAR, but we will see. But for the moment, Valencia follows up his performance against Senegal with another goal. It all started from some pressure there applied to Noppert by Estupinian, who was rushing in. And ball was won. And it was Estupinian who, in fact, took the shot. And clearly onside. It was Ake who, in fact, played Valencia onside. And the Ecuadorian fans are jubilant. And a wonderful sight to see everyone, the substitutes and the players, gathering in the huddle and giving thanks to the Almighty. So the goal is not disallowed, and it is the Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. Enner Valencia, the skipper, with the equalizing goal on 49 minutes. Daley Blind, what do the Netherlands do now? They just conceded their first goal. And they're going to have to work really hard to get back into it. Blind from Aki. And Depay is running down the left, but Perozo has that covered. A pass back to Hector Galindez there. You're in Timber. Van Dijk. Aki. So the Netherlands certainly looked in cruise control, but have been sort of rocked back on their heels. I wonder if this could be a repeat of the Netherlands-Saudi Arabia game where the first goal sent them tumbling. Depay trying to find Klaassen in the penalty area, but his pass was a bit too short. And the Netherlands do win a throw. And so Enner Valencia now has 6 goals in 5 World Cup matches for his country. And so the Netherlands have it all to do. Van Dijk to Aki, who sends it long, hoping to find Memphis Depay, and he does, but unable to effectively control that. And, well, it's gone out for a corner kick. I suppose it was aimed for Depay, but there was a defender who, took a touch to that. And obviously Perozo was sliding in, trying to prevent that from going behind for a corner, but couldn't prevent it. So the Ecuadorian fans are jubilant, celebrating that equalizer, but the Dutch can find a way back into it. And it will be Cody Gakpo, the goal scorer. Should be a right-footed in-swinger that will be coming in. Hoping to find an attacker, but it doesn't. And the Ecuadorian defense can clear. Good work there from Mendes, and Estupinian has it now. But Koopmeiners is there to snuff out some danger, and clearly, once again, no love lost between these two sets of players. Well intercepted there by Dumfries, or Timber, that was rather. That is Torres. Preciado allows that to roll beyond him. Daley Blind. Once again, hoping to find Depay down the left, but not able to. And Perozo, after that goal, growing after that disallowed goal, has now improved his play somewhat. Certainly growing in confidence a little bit more. Koopmeiners now down the right. Passes it back to Timber. And that should go out for a goal kick. A little bit of frustration starting to build up in the Dutch. And just a replay of that goal there. Excellent work from Estupinian. Decent save from Noppert, but Valencia must be credited for getting into position at the right time. And you can see the disappointment there among the Dutch supporters who were confident of doing well, and you can see Van Gaal's face dropping a little bit. Angelo Preciado now, the precious angel, if you will, with the throw in. Caicedo. Preciado. Valencia. Trying to find Preciado, but not able to. Instead, passed it back to Caicedo, who does find Preciado, but he cannot keep it in play, and that will be a goal kick. And obviously, Van Dijk over there, apoplectic at having conceded a goal, bashes that ball away in anger. Nathan Ake from Virgil van Dijk. Klaassen. De Jong, who's now come back into the defence. And that is Depay. And you can clearly see that Depay is not quite at it, but Ecuador away through Estrada, but the defence holds firm. And good work there from Hincapi to try to win the ball, but Gakpo wins it back. And a free kick awarded to the Netherlands. I suppose with my mouth being hidden by the banner, sort of mitigates it, but still, it's not a nice look. And the booking there, obviously the free kick was conceded and maybe some more lip was given. And we're going to find out who gets that booking. And you can see Jegson Mendes' shirt being drenched in sweat there. It was Mendes, in fact, who came rushing into Depay there and sort of bringing him down. I believe it was Mendes, in fact, who has been retroactively booked for that challenge. So Mendes, with his second booking, will miss Ecuador's next game in the group. Free kick is taken and headed away by Valencia. And Daley Blind trying to get that, but shielded away by Mendes. And Gakpo there conceding a throw. Preciado with the throw. Met by Valencia, now headed back towards Preciado by Caicedo. And Preciado will try and cross it, but Blind at the moment is certainly holding him at arm's length. But he does make it into the penalty area, a shot inside. And Plata now with a shot off the bar. And you can see that Ecuador are dominating here. And that is somehow hacked away, so Ecuador are all over the Netherlands like a bad rash here. And I'm not too sure Van Gaal will be quite happy with the way things have gone. There was that initial shot from Valencia was blocked by Van Dijk. And that shot from Plata was served up to him on a platter. And Noppert was beaten hook, line, and sinker, but the bar saved him. The crossbar, that is. No alcohol allowed, remember? And Nathan Ake now, back to Blind. Memphis Depay. De Jong. And Koopmeiners trying to cross it in, but that is well kept in place, so there is no corner, but there is a Dutch throw-in. So this is a good game so far, certainly developed into a fine tussle between these two sides. An hour, of course, has just elapsed, and there will be half an hour left, plus stoppages. Denzel Dumfries now, who'll be taking the throw in. Needs to be a bit quicker than that. Gakpo. Klaassen. Nice little back heel, but Gakpo can't get there. And that will be an Ecuadorian free kick. And you can see the frustration starting to boil over. Actually, it was Dumfries over there who can... Yep. Yeah, there was Denzel Dumfries over there who conceded that free kick. Gakpo was, of course, on the floor, but Dumfries was trying to make something happen. And the Ecuadorian fans are excited. They sense a shock win here. But some Dutch fans are still defiant. Estupinian with a nice cross in. No one on the end of that, but that should... it was Preciado who got to that. He sort of blocked Blin's attempted clearance, but couldn't keep it in play. And that will be a Dutch goal kick. Some respite for Andries Noppert there. Nathan Ake back to Noppert. And so Senegal will have to be quite careful when they play Ecuador, because this Ecuadorian team is quite fast on their feet and they can certainly spring a surprise or two. Preciado. Mendes over to Estrada, who tried to send that through but couldn't. It's now back with Daley Blind. Depay. De Jong. Van Dijk. De Jong. Koopmeiners. Daley Blind. Memphis Depay. Klaassen laying it off for Depay, but still in the Ecuador penalty area, headed away. And can Ecuador clear their lines? Yes, they can. Plata hooks it over. And some good work there from Estrada, but Van Dijk equal to that with a fine hooked clearance. And Capi there with the attempted clearance there. It finds Valencia. Pretty poor work there from Urian Timber. Laying it up for Estrada, but he's unable to get any kind of connection there. Nathan Ake putting him under pressure and doing the work. So once again, Valencia extremely active, but Estrada not quite able to get his feet in tune with that. And so this particular time will be the time when both managers will look to bring on some substitutes. And it's back out now with the Netherlands in the form of Frankie de Jong. Nathan Ake's run a bit forward on the left. And Ake can sort of try and send it forward and try and find someone before running back himself. He finds Memphis Depay, and Ake is still up front. And it's with de Jong now. Ake. Timber. Dumfries. Back to Timber. Van Dijk. Nathan Ake. Daley Blind. JV Klaassen. Of course, wearing the number 14 shirt made famous by the late and great Johan Cruyff. May he rest in peace. Daley Blind, now the number 17, finds Klaassen. And A good network of passing there. Gakpo teeing it up for Coop Miners, who had his chance to score and just couldn't keep it down. So this is much better from the Netherlands, obviously finding their passing range again. Some good interplay between Klaassen, Gakpo doing some good work, but completely fluffing his lines there, Coop Miner. And Torres there, under pressure from Memphis Depay, decides to, take the goal kick off him. So he's only been on about 20 minutes or so, and the sweat's starting to drip down his face in rivulets. Not drip, run down his face. And Galindez now with the goal kick. Foul over there. And there's an Ecuadorian player on the floor. Looks like Estrada to me. It is Estrada. Michael Estrada is his name. And obviously Van Dijk was on the floor too, but Estrada was the one who bore the brunt of that fall. And the Dutch are trying to get back in it. It is with Coop Miners now. Back to Timber. Van Dijk. Timber. Coop Miners. Trying to find Gakpo, but that is out of play. I can see some notes being written down by Van Gaal. Obviously, he's got some changes in mind. We're going to see if he brings about those changes. And the Netherlands are trying to get back into it. Daily Blind with the throw, back at him. Depay still cutting a frustrated figure. Hasn't really quite been able to have much of an impact with the Ecuadorian defense being quite aggressive. Senegal obviously were a lot slower. And the Ecuadorian boss is not really happy. I mean, he knows that his side have done well to get back into the game, but still believes they're capable of more. And Ecuador's first order of business now will be to try and stop De Jong from starting an attack. Passes it to Van Dijk. Timber there on the right, who can run, but Valencia presses him. And that is a throw conceded by Denzel Dumfries. And you can see right now that the Ecuadorian players are able to, they're continuing to snap at the Dutch heels and pressure them into making mistakes. So shouldn't be long now before Van Gaal brings on a substitute, and he does indeed. It is Davy Klaassen who will be coming off, and he will be replaced by the Dutch number 11, Steven Berghuis. Now, Berghuis, of course, started yesterday on Monday against Senegal, and now he's been brought on to replace Klaassen, who's certainly not been as effective as he would be, and Berghuis comes on. And let's see if Berghuis can make himself effective. He's on right now trying to win the ball off Jegson Mendes, but failing. Some more head tennis going on. I call this head tennis because when there's a series of headers in succession, it becomes head tennis. Or it could be head volleyball. You know the score. Back with Andre Snoppert now, who passes that to Nathan Aki. Back to Frankie de Jong. Back over to Urian Timber on the right, who can try and pass it forward, play it forward. Cody Gakpo. Timber. Coop Miners, I think. No. That was actually Yeah, still down the right, but cleared away by Ecuador. And the free kick has been awarded for the challenge on Estupinian. Well, obviously, Estupinian being a real pain in the backside of the Dutch right now. And is there another substitution being made? No, not yet. Because we've passed the 70-minute mark, and there will be about 19 minutes left, plus substitutions. I mean, not substitutions, stoppages. Van Dijk, back to Noppert, back to Van Dijk. It's gone a little bit quiet now in terms of play. A nice pass over there to Berghaus, who has taken Klassen's role in the centre of midfield. And not the best of touches there from the substitute, who concedes throw-in. And it looks as though Ecuador are going to make their first substitution of the night. It will be Sarmiento. Jeremy Sarmiento, the third member of the Brighton and Hove Albion contingent in the Ecuador squad, along with Moises Caicedo and Pervis Estupinian. Preciado now with the throw. And it goes back to him, and he tries to send it forward, but there will be no one on the end of that, and that should go out for... well, it's a throw-in, apparently. Yeah, it's a throw-in. I think from the forward's point of view, it's much better to concede a throw-in than a goal kick, because at least you can attack the throw-in. So, showing us highlights there of the equalizer, and clearly Valencia was well onside, because Nathan Ake played him onside, and no complaints there about the goal. An excellent piece of opportunism. Estupinian once again outstanding. Probably could have done better with the goal, maybe. Noppert, I don't know. But it's still in the Dutch penalty area, and the Dutch are having to defend desperately once again. And Dumfries there with a very heavy challenge on Estupinian, but no free kick is awarded. And Gakpo is open down the right. No offside. 1-on-1 against the keeper. And he chips it wide. Cody Gakpo can just not believe it. But one look over there at the television will tell you that the linesman had indeed flagged him. And yep, wandered well offside. Even if it had gone in, it wouldn't have counted. And is that going to be Gakpo's last action of the night? No, it's not yet. And it will be Michael Estrada who will be making way for Jeremy Sarmiento. Estrada's run a lot all day. Also with a shirt drenched in sweat. And Sarmiento comes on for him. 7.7 kilometers run today by Estrada. And Sarmiento comes in to possibly provide a little more impetus. And the Ecuadorian fans are loving it. Goal kick from Galindez, sent quite long. Headed away by Van Dijk. Jumping on Enner Valencia in the process. And that free kick is taken quickly by Van Dijk to Daley Blind, who can try and send it forward. A nice little step aside there from Berghaus. A little confrontation there between him and Perozo. And Ecuador now win a free kick. Taken, of course, by Galindez, who does have a very big kick and sends that forward, headed away by Nathan Ake. And that will end up going all the way behind. And Plata starting to tire a little bit. 15 minutes left, plus stoppages. And will there be any more substitutions in these remaining minutes? Virgil van Dijk. Nathan Aki. Daily Blind. And of course, a draw will definitely see Qatar exit the competition because with both teams having a win and a draw each, there's no way that Qatar can catch either of them. So, ironically enough, if Ecuador were to beat the Netherlands, maybe Qatar would have some chance of qualifying, but their poor goal difference means that it will take an absolute freak result against the Netherlands to, see them through. And Ecuador win it back through Mendes. Estupinian, who has been outstanding down the left. Sarmiento to his Brighton teammate Caicedo. A nice little interplay there between the three Brighton and Hove Albion players. Torres. Caicedo. Back to Torres. Forward now to Plata. Sarmiento, who can certainly run. And a little tussle between him and Urian Timber there, and Timber concedes the free kick. Okay. Torres to Hincapi. Torres. Who can send it long, hoping to find his skipper Valencia. He does connect with that ball, but no one else is there to support him, and Blend can clear that away. Certainly via Berghaus there tries to head it away, but it finds Estupinian, but that won't be kept in play, and that will be an Ecuador throw. So Estupinian, once again, proving just what a fine footballer he is. And there certainly will look to be more substitutions coming on. I see the Dutch number 19, Weghorst there, Wout Weghorst, who was on the books at Burnley last season, or the season before. And he can certainly be employed as a big target man, but we'll have to see if he comes on. It is with the Ecuador number 19, Gonzalo Plata, who passes it back to Perozo, and he in turn gives it back to Hector Galindez, who will try and calm things down. A short pass to Felix Torres, and hoping to find Caicedo there, but instead Caicedo ends up inadvertently giving it away. Ecuador do win it back, though, and they can move forward through Jegson Mendes. And some good work there from Mendes, and obviously some ridiculous play there from Urian Timber. It's a wonder that he hasn't been booked already. Basically wrestling him to the ground there, Urian Timber. And the substitutes are being made. The number 8, Cody Gakpo, who has had a fine game, will be coming off to be replaced by Weghorst. And before that, it is Teun Koopmeiners, who will be replaced by the number 15, Martin de Roon. So Martin de Roon and Wout Weghorst there will have taken their places. And Weghorst will try and attack Torres to no avail. Slightly more than 10 minutes to go. Will Ecuador make a few more substitutions? Well, Ecuador have a chance to attack. Estupinian once again, who has been magnificent today. Currently being double teamed at the moment, but can Estupinian win it back? He does win a corner, I think. Yes, he does. Once again, brilliant stuff from the Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder. He's been employed as a left. Obviously, he is, of course. He has been employed as more of the left wing back tonight, but certainly he's been outstanding. And he will take this corner. Left-footed away swinger. Looking for Valencia there, and that is hoiked over the bar by Angel Preciado, the right wing back. So about 9.5 minutes left, plus stoppages. And both teams are going to try and find a way to get back into the game. Back into the lead, rather, it must be said. And once again, the Dutch finding no joy along the wings, and they're sort of giving the ball away quite easily along the flanks. So some excellent defending from Ecuador along the flanks, not really allowing much in terms of movement. And Depay is still out there. Gonzalo Plata passing it back to Caicedo. It's now with Felix Torres. Hincapi. That was, I believe, Mendes there, who came back to defend, and is now with Torres. Back to Mendes again, who passes it to, well, it's been intercepted by Sarmiento. Could have gone all the way to Plata, but maybe it would have been intercepted by a Dutchman. So Sarmiento did the right thing. It is now on the left. Estupinian was there, but that was away from him, and it's a comfortable claim in the end for Andries Noppert. Nathan Ake. Jurien Timber. Virgil van Dijk. Nathan Ake. Daley Blind. Memphis Depay. And that is hooked away. Eder Valencia will certainly run after that, but Jurien Timber is there ahead of him. And Timber can clean up by passing it back to Noppert in the Dutch goal. De Jong. Timber. It's still with the Netherlands now, who are trying their best to continue attacking. That is, of course, Weghorst there, who had that. And Dumfries can try and get it, but that is a bit too far ahead of him. And Weghorst, certainly a very tall fellow as well. Him and Noppert might be the tallest in the squad. So this could be the time for Ecuador to bring on a few more fresh names. I believe they've only brought on Sarmiento for Estrada. Some more names to possibly come in and tidy everything up. Preciado. Barroso. Okay. And that is intercepted well by Preciado. Valencia, who's now being double teamed by both Ake and Blind, and wins a throw-in. Any comments? Well, there have been 4 comments in. Football Ferreira has joined in. Vamos, Ferreira. Thanks a lot for joining in, brother. Yes. Apparently, JPT, the Other Time podcast, hopeful for Ecuador pulling off the upset. It's still quite possible. 6 minutes left plus stoppages, and Ecuador have certainly looked more impressive, a lot more displayed a lot more urgency. Could happen. And Zoe, big up to you. Thanks to all of you joining in. The link is also in the chat, so if you want to come on at the end of the game and have your say on how you think the match was, please click the link. I will be happy to receive you. And now another Dutch attack is stopped. Mendes can clear that, finding Estupinian once again. Dumfries is now back in defense, and in combination with De Roon double teaming Estupinian, and Estupinian concedes a free kick. So obviously De Roon doing the job, if you will. Nathan Ake. Allowed to run, and that's a poor challenge from Caicedo. Will that be a booking? Hard to say. We clearly trying to go for the ball, but absolutely missed it and sent Nathan Ake flying. And Caicedo's one lucky fella to not receive a card, but it is Memphis Depay and Steven Berghaus standing over that free kick on the left. And will it be Depay to swing that in, or will it be Berghaus to possibly try and swing that towards the players? It is Bergwijn, left-footed, but that's a really short free kick, no height at all, and that's headed away. So 4 minutes left in the match plus stoppages, and this has been a really good game. Certainly an improvement on a few of the games in the tournament. De Jong, Ake, Daily Blend on the left. Passes that back to Ake, and there's a player down, and the referee hasn't stopped play yet. Dumfries on the right, and Galindez comes and claims that, almost gratefully, if you will. And there's the skipper, Enner Valencia, who had some knee problems against Senegal, was past fit to play tonight, but see the Ecuadorian manager remonstrating with the officials. And a small skirmish there between the Dutch and the Ecuadorian players. As I said, no love lost between them. And so some more Ecuadorian substitutes will be brought on. I believe it's the number 10, Romario Ibarra, who will be brought on, along with the number 26, Kevin Rodriguez. And it's a shame, really, because Valencia's knee is giving him problems. He's been terrific today. And if he leaves, it'll be a question of who will provide the goals for his country. And we're coming up to 2 minutes left, and the substitutions will take a bit of time as well. And it'll be hard to see who can replace him. Maybe Ibarra can do a job. I don't know. Of course, showing highlights of Gakpo's goal earlier on, which put Netherlands ahead, much to the delight of the Dutch supporters in the stadium. But, of course, Captain Fantastic, Enner Valencia, staying on side and responding with a goal of his own. Cheeky little celebration over there. And looks as though the Ecuadorian captain will be stretched off. 1 minute remaining, and there will definitely be that much added on for substitutions. So it is Romario Ibarra who will be coming on, and Kevin Rodriguez who will be coming on. Valencia will be going off, and who will be following the captain? And Valencia will be taken into the medical room. A really sad way for his match to end. So Ibarra set to come on for Valencia. And the number 19, Gonzalo Plata, has also come off. Kevin Rodriguez is on. So off go Valencia and Plata. And on come Rodriguez and Ibarra. And so stoppage time has just begun, and we will find out how many stoppage time minutes are added. Hincapi heading that away. Estupinian still there. Estupinian wins the throw off Weghorst. And Valencia off the stretcher, walking towards the bench, hailed by his teammates as a hero, and he will have ice put on that leg of his. And there are 6 minutes of added time. Surprised there aren't more, but it is what it is. And this has certainly been a game free without any major episodes of controversy. And Rodriguez's first job is to try and pressure the goalkeeper, Noppert, but Noppert ends up winning the goal kick off him. Noppert's second appearance for the Dutch tonight, made his international debut in Monday's match against, Monday's match against Senegal. And Virgil van Dijk is unable to keep that in play. And Ecuador have another chance to attack. Let me see if there are any more comments. Well, I'm sure Hanno has made it clear who he supports. He wants Ecuador to score. And it will be Pervis Estupiñán with the throw-in. Arguably Ecuador's man of the match for me, certainly. Headed up towards Preciado. And all he does is head that rather tamely towards Noppert in the Dutch goal. So 4 minutes of stoppage time left. Who will strike first? Ibarra now with the header, and Ake hooks that away. Preciado with the throw. Doesn't really find anyone, then that can be headed away. Back with Preciado now. And it is with the Ake wasn't going to take any chances, and he concedes the throw. And Kevin Rodriguez making himself useful with 3 minutes to go of stoppage time. And of course, coming up next in an hour, the big match from the Al Bayt Stadium, England against the USA. And you can see the Ecuadorians hoping for a miracle, hoping for a goal which can decide this contest. Whoever scores now will almost definitely win. Caicedo, Preciado, Sarmiento. Keeps that in play, only just. And that is also... And clearly de Jong believes that it should be a Netherlands throw, but that throw goes in favor of Ecuador. Preciado pulling up his socks and getting ready to take another throw in. And Blind now concedes a corner. So it's all hands on deck for the Dutch right now. The orange cavalry is needed. And you can see some fans there praying for a miracle, hoping for one goal, which will make things a lot easier. Because, of course, head-to-head records do come into play, and even if the Netherlands were to lose, it would take a freak result in favor of Qatar to, possibly send them through. But I really can't see them going through anyway. And can Sarmiento keep that in play? No, he can't. Touch was a bit too heavy. And so with a minute to go, it'll probably end up being finishing 1-1. And the Dutch, of course, are praying that they can somehow hold on. They were hopeful for a win today, but I guess you could say they were, found out as a team which really likes to just play more pragmatically and not really offer that much of an attacking threat. But it doesn't really help that Depay is still not quite fit. And this could be dangerous for Ecuador because that's been hooked up into the air. But Perozo there calming things down. Preciado keeping that in play. And Ibarra there making himself useful. And obviously... And Ecuador can now come away, but Netherlands will cut that off. 5 seconds to go before the end of the 6 minutes. Will the referee blow his whistle? Maybe not yet, because it's Nathan Aki on the attack. Daley Blind. Martin de Roon. And the referee has in fact blown his whistle. So obviously the Ecuadorian number 21, Alan Franco, was hoping to come on for the last few seconds, but sadly he couldn't do so. Just as well, because I'm sure he wouldn't have appreciated just coming on for the final few seconds of the game anyway. But this result, of course, confirms that Qatar are out of the World Cup, the first team to exit the tournament and the second host nation to exit the World Cup at the group stage after South Africa in 2010. Cody Gakpo's early goal had looked to have set Netherlands on their way, but their inability to capitalize meant that they were always vulnerable to a counterattack and an equalizer, and so it proved with Enner Valencia, in a moment of opportunism, poking the ball home on the 49th minute in the second half. Great work, of course, from Pervis Estupinian, my man of the match. Outstanding down the left for Ecuador and certainly at the heart of many of their chances, and could very nearly have had a goal himself, only for the crossbar to deny what would have been a fine goal, one of the goals of the tournament, and potentially Ecuador's winner. So Ecuador certainly look good value for their presence in the tournament, and they, of course, are now joint top with the Netherlands on 4 points, with Senegal on 3. And if Senegal fail to win, then they could also their next game against Ecuador, I believe, then they could also end up exiting the tournament. So only a win will do for them. As for Qatar, even if they were to beat the Netherlands with a record of 1 win and 2 losses, they won't be enough to overtake either the Netherlands or Ecuador, who have, right as of now, a win and a draw each. So Qatar's elimination has been confirmed. I will just change the ticker right now. One, Ecuador 1. And another banner, I will create it. Okay, let me just edit this one now. Right. So this is the confirmation of the score, of course. No need to mention the goal scorer. We all know who scorers. We all know who they are. And confirmation has been provided here. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1, and Qatar are eliminated from the tournament. The first team to be eliminated from this World Cup and the second host nation to be eliminated at the group stage of a World Cup. So I'm just about to take leave from all of you, but obviously I will want to provide some comments and analysis. Certainly a tepid performance by the Netherlands, who were probably hoping that what worked against Senegal would work against Ecuador, but Ecuador certainly proved themselves to be wise to that game plan and continue to press and press hard. And eventually it was that pressure which told in the end, as Ecuador certainly looked the better team, and the Netherlands were simply unable to find a way to test Galindez in the Ecuadorian goal. And Hernan Galindez basically having a more comfortable second half than first half, for sure. And once again, showing highlights of that opening goal from Gakpo and the celebrations which followed. Certainly an inconvenience for both teams that they drew. Either one would have wanted to win, but at least it's, for now, it confirms Qatar's elimination, and Senegal also know what they need to do against Ecuador. Only a win will do. And I definitely cannot see the Netherlands losing to Qatar. That would be an absolute freak result, maybe an even more freakish result than the Saudi Arabian win over Argentina. And of course, an hour from now, England and the Netherlands and the US will be kicking off. That match, of course, will be covered by Coach's Corner. I hope I'll get to join you then, but if I don't, I'm sure Hannah will be able to, provide good coverage of that. But in the meantime, once again, the action continues. It's starting to heat up. And obviously, it's during the second stage when teams' fortunes will be more or less confirmed. And of course, Wales's future in this tournament has sadly been, made fairly clear with a dreadful result and a dreadful performance against Iran today. The England-Wales game should really be only a formality. Iran, in the meanwhile, have a really good chance to qualify from the group, but they will obviously hope to beat the United States in their final group fixture, which will be on a Tuesday, if I'm not wrong. Yes, Tuesday. And it's all getting set up quite nicely in groups A and B. C and D, of course, will be tomorrow. Argentina will look to get their campaign back on track and save their campaign from falling completely apart when they take on Mexico. Nothing less than a win will do for them. And Poland, of course, will be facing Saudi Arabia. Lewandowski will, of course, have designs on trying to score as many goals as he can against the Saudis. And then from Group D, it will be France and Denmark battling each other. That will be obviously a titanic clash. And then Australia will be taking on Tunisia. And all those 4 matches will be brought to you on Coach's Corner. So obviously, I put the link in the chat. No one's able to join. So that is my cue to take leave. Thank you all very much for joining in. Shout out to the people who come into the chat rather belatedly. Football Ferreira, JPT, the Out of Time podcast, Zoeb, and of course, Mr. Trollip, who was on the chat as well, even if he couldn't really join in with me. Obviously, quite busy. I hope to be back for the England-US game, but if I'm not, I'm sure Hannah will do a good job of bringing that to you. For the meantime, once again, thank you all for joining in. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will hope to see you all again soon. And I hope you all continue to enjoy the coverage of this World Cup as we bring it to you. But until then, take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay happy, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And for now, I'm out.